Drink it in, man.
Deep left side carry on. Picks on the block. At the 5. At the 2. At the 1 to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Drink it in, man.
Get up, Stafford throws. It is end zone. Caught! Oh, baby, what a catch! Kenny Galladay, you're a freak! What a catch! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Cornbread! I love the Lions! Say it with me! I love the Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what is going on, everybody? Friday, back here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. We had quite the show on Wednesday. I mean, we talked about Tua. We talked about new coaches. I threw Gary on Twitter under the bus and got after him. And then all of a sudden, me and Grifka got in a big dust up because that's what we do. And then we spent the back half of the show, went a little bit longer. I got myself all turned around and twisted talking about Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn at the podium, what they had to say. These guys I support, but they, I don't know, they did this when they got up to the podium.
It drives me freaking bonkers.
So I got that off my chest, but they also said some good things. We are here on a Friday to talk all things Detroit Lions. Grifka, do what you do. What's going on?
Oh, man, I'm like, starting to not feel so well. Gosh, this weather this week's been freaking crazy, man. It's cold in, middle of the week. Then, it's back going to be low 40s and, high 30s, low 40s this weekend with, like, rain and maybe a little bit of snow. But, thank God it's Friday. TGIF.
There it is. So, Grifka, this is when I pass it to you, man. You've got some topics. You've got some things you want to either ask me or tee up for the people. So do it up, man. What are we talking about right off the top here?
Yeah, I just want to start with, I've been reading a lot of this stuff. This all stems from the
Lions 24/7.
Yeah, of course. And people are talking just like, we need to take Jerry Jeudy. And, I'm just like, I know you're the draft guy and you watch him, and you probably watched some tape on him. What are you thinking about taking Jerry Jeudy at number 3?
So Jerry Jeudy. So Grifka, rather than me give my answer, let me do what I like to do on the show. Let me throw it back to you because I just have a feeling you're going to have an incredible draft report for me on Jerry Jeudy, and then I can respond not only to what you say but give my thoughts on the guy. So tell me about Jerry Jeudy, Grifka. I can't wait to hear this.
I mean, well, yeah, he's good. And I know you can think, well, I just saw him one game. No, I watched plenty of them. I mean, Alabama, they are obviously the Dallas Cowboys of NCAA football. So, like, anytime they can get thrown on some station somewhere, they're going to go on. So, I mean, obviously I watched the Michigan game, but, I watched them play like LSU and Texas A&M was a good game. And, for some odd reason, I always end up watching, like, Ole Miss. For some odd reason, I think Ole Miss always give them a game. But, this year they just got crushed again because Ole Miss defense, they couldn't stop. That Landshark defense couldn't stop a JV football team. So
when you're watching Ole Miss, is that where you got that great evaluation you had on DK Metcalf when you watched all those games previously?
Well, yeah, because when I was watching DK Metcalf last year, he was hurt a lot, but he balled out against Southern Illinois. So I will give him that. He did have one catch. He had 3 catches against Alabama, like one for like 77 yards. And then all of a sudden, Nick Saban's like, yeah, okay, we're just going to take this guy out the rest of the game. And he had like 2 catches the rest of the game. So, but
pretty good NFL player, but go ahead.
Yeah, but Jerry Jeudy, he's really good. He's good. I ain't gonna argue with him on DK. DK Metcalf. It's like they're not the same, because Jerry Jeudy, like, he's better. Okay, I might think he might even be like the number 1 player in the draft when all said and done. I know he's like, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, and even your boy, Mr. Disappear Chase Young. But Jerry Judy's good. I just want to know, what do you think about taking this guy at number 3?
Oh, Grifka, you served up so much gold there. I'm so glad I asked you first because, first of all, Grifka, your evaluation on Jerry Jeudy sounds a lot like your in-depth, multiple-page report that you gave me I think it was a year or so ago, on a certain guy named Antonio Brown in free agency, where you consistently said, "Okrie is a good player. He's a good player," and I had to use the Grifka drop on you then and now.
It's like duh. It's like, duh.
Like, we know he's good. We get it. Now we're glad you watched multiple games. Let's confirm that it was in the Lazy Boy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I ain't watching this laying on the floor or on the couch, man. Lazy boy.
Lazy Boy. Grifka, next time I see you, I'm getting you like at least a legal pad so you can at least maybe do a little more work than just sit in Lazy Boy, watch a football game, and then tell me that you've watched Jeudy a bunch, because
it'll just be one. It'll be one bullet point. It'll just say he's good. It's like duh. It's like duh. It's like duh. That's all you need to know. It's like, you see was it like those guys on like NFL Network and your boy on ESPN, Mel Kiper, he brings out like this 1,000-page book. My draft analysis would be like a note, like 2 pages of notepad. Player name, he's good. Player name, he sucks. Player name, he's okay. Player name, he's good. Just that's what it would be, and that's all you would need. That's all you would need. Right there.
Grifka, like, this is why it's not a fair fight when it's me and you in the draft process, because you got this.
No chance. That's what you got.
Now you get a couple right here or there, but I mean, come on, you got no chance. Now let me get back to some of your other takes. So I think you said, if my Whistler 2000 is working right, you said something about he's the top player overall, and you went and said he's better than Burrow and Tua. I think you threw Chase's name in there, Chase Young. Griff, are you okay over there? Are you doing okay? Because like there's not a single person that thinks he's the number one player overall. The people that think he's 3, 5, 7, whatever, to me is still kind of crazy.
Okay.
Jerry Jeudy killed Michigan. We know this. He's been a really good football player at Alabama.
He killed a lot of teams.
Yeah, let's get the soundbite out for me and for you with those comments.
It's like duh.
But Jerry Jeudy is an incredible route runner. This guy is very, very top. He's got top end speed, but he's also slight. He may have injury issues at the next level. Here's the other thing I hate, Grifka, when you bring up Jerry Jeudy. What's the first Lions fan that doesn't have a clue? What do they say? Oh, not another receiver. Like, I swear Lions fan can't get out of their own way from like 2 decades ago to understand that, hello, Matt Millen's not here anymore. Hello. Like, you don't have to worry about something we did a decade and a half ago or however long it's been. Like, you can draft receivers. It's going to be okay. Do I suggest taking one at 3 if you're stuck there? Hell no. Do I suggest taking one even in that top 10? Not necessarily. Do I think that Frank Ribble, shout out Frank, is right when he goes on Twitter and tries to clamor for Jerry Jeudy that, man, he'd make our offense like really good?
It's like duh. It's like duh. It's like duh.
There you go, Frank. That's for you. Like, yes, Jeudy and Golladay would be nice, real nice. Jerry Jeudy could really help this team. Jerry Jeudy could make this offense really tough to stop. We get it. The point is, there's so many other cornerstone pieces, I call them, big physical football players, big premier positions, whether it's left tackle, where it's a defender that just makes game-changing plays, versatile players that can play corner, safety, linebacker, all over the football field, new age type players, quarterbacks, all these players that overall are just valued better, as well as are more needed, in my opinion, for the Detroit Lions. So Jerry Jeudy is a player that a lot of people are going to value as a game changer, a guy that can't be guarded at the next level when it comes to route running, quickness, speed, where he came from, school, his college production. But I think he's going to be a fine pro. I think, he's going to make an offense really dynamic, but it's not going to be the Detroit Lions. Like, it's not the right pick or the right timing to go that route. And I know people too will tell you, well, the Lions have no receivers under contract after this year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to get a nice deal done with Kenny Golladay and keep him around. I'm pretty sure, like I said, that Marvin Jones isn't going anywhere in 2020. I'm pretty sure you could turn to Danny Amendola and ask him to take either the same or less or a little bump up, whatever it is, to sort of keep him around. You have a couple other players that may come around, and you also have free agency. So I'm much more going that route. Or, hey, you want to take a receiver in round 2 or 3 if the value's there? Be my guest. but you're not doing it up in the top 10, in my opinion, as much as it would make us really fun to watch. Like, I can't see it happening. I don't advise it. Jerry Jeudy's good, as you laid out, Grifka.
It's like, duh.
But you gotta pass on him, got to use better judgment, and got to trade down. You have to trade down in this draft. You're in the perfect spot with perfect players around him to do so. It's got to happen.
I do have a follow-up question for you on that, based on some of the information that you said. What if, sheer, happenstance, the Lions do end up, taking Jerry Jeudy, and you said he's a little slight, so you might be worried about injury concerns in the pros. So do you believe Jerry Jeudy is the type of player, if he was to get injured during a game, he'd be up in one of the suites, mowing down on some chicken wings?
Well, I think the person that would be mowing down on chicken wings is a very large type receiver, maybe with lazy work ethic, terrible route runner, or Mike Williams. Hold on, let me redo that. Mike Williams chowing down on chicken wings right next to me in a suite at Ford Field. So no, Jerry Jeudy will not be doing that, Grifka. And here's one quick counterpoint follow-up that I got to give you. Like, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I'm an optimist when it comes to this team. I also can kind of see all different avenues. Like, people were asking me online, I can make arguments for Tua, for Jeudy, for Andrew Thomas, the offensive tackle, or Wirfs from Iowa, or Isaiah Simmons. All these guys, I can figure out how they could fit this team and the impact they could make. But again, to me, the draft is this huge puzzle of how can you put this puzzle together with the greatest amount of value and play the board. You got to play the board, which means moving down, moving around, taking players at the proper spots to maximize that value. And I just think if you just sat there at 3 and said, Jerry Jeudy, man, he's a good player, take him. Like, it's just not the value play or not playing the board the way that you should.
Nice follow-up. I cannot argue with your points at this time. Maybe later. Give me time.
Do you agree?
Some follow-ups. Well, I might be watching some follow-ups, here on like the SEC network where they show some of his games, and some guys might go, he's good or better, and some people go like he's okay, and he might go down to he sucks. So give him some time. There's some more analysis to do.
Nothing wrong with watching a couple YouTube highlight tapes, Grifka. I mean, it's a good way to actually look at the player rather than watch a random game and see a couple plays and make a decision.
Okay, man. Let's do this.
This is where you insert your bid about how you could make a highlight tape of me, and you want to do that for the people.
Well, I could make a highlight tape of you, and people be clamoring for you to get in the Canton as well. Like, well, this is Derek Oakley not in lines. He's freaking awesome. Check out his tape.
Grifka, awesome. The people know you couldn't make a highlight tape. You said in the last show on Wednesday that you didn't even know how to put all caps on your iPhone. So we got issues there on the technical side with you.
I just don't waste my time doing it. You see a lot of small letters in my text, misspelled words, because I got chubby thumbs, and that's how I text. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a pause for the cause here, and then we're going to come back, and it's report card day. Let's see who passed and failed here with the Detroit Lions.
Grifka, real quick before we have to take a break, you just said that's how you text. That's not what the people want. That's how you do what?
Well, that's how I ping you, baby. You know that.
Oh, it's a double for the ping. I actually heard somebody else say, hey, you should ping them on that. And I thought, okay, now there's 2 people that use that phrase, Grifka and whoever this person was.
Sweeping the nation. Sweeping the nation like a ground storm.
Like nobody else says it, just like nobody else talks about the Mason-Dixon line. Nobody else talks about these phrases you've said from 50 years ago. Nobody says, hey, Kettle, you're black.
Well, as opposed to you're saying, hello, Pot, meet Kettle. Like there's a third person there, like, oh man, like you stumbled upon an old girlfriend, like, oh, I'm sorry, Pod, here's Kettle, we used to go out together. It doesn't work that way.
Grifka, we need to solve that. May be like a Twitter poll, because I'm pretty sure the phrase is something to the consent of, hey, Pot, meet Kettle. It's not, hey, Kettle, you're black. I guarantee, I think mine is much more on the
actual phrase is, that's the Pot calling the Kettle black. Okay, that's the actual phrase. But once again, the way I deemed it.
And the follow-up is a Pot, meet Kettle, and not hey, Pot, you're black, or whatever you told me online.
That doesn't make any sense. Hi, Pot, meet Kettle. That's the Pot calling the Kettle black, and it's like, hi, Kettle, you're black. That's Pot saying you're black. Duh. Well, duh. There you go. It's like, duh. It's like, duh. Let's get to commercial break before sponsors think we don't love them anymore.
Grifko, we have to get to break because you're doing this.
It drives me freaking bonkers.
We'll be right back.
Spring is here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
When Sweet Tarts dared to combine sweet and tart, they thought, why stop there? Why not create other exciting and unexpected combinations? Like rainbows and ropes, or fruity and gummy, or chewy and more chewy. That's why they created fun treats like Sweet Tarts Twisted Rainbow Ropes, Gummies Fruity Splits, and Chewy Fusions. When you dare to combine, it's sure to blow your mind. Sweet Tarts, dare to combine. Visit sweettartscandy.com to shop now.
Everybody, we're back. Had fun off the top. Talking about Jerry Jeudy. The draft cannot get here soon enough. We'll have tons of takes on that. Me and Grifka will have our normal arguments, banter, good times. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. We really appreciate them and love having them part of the show. Grifka, what the heck are we doing here on the back half of the show? You got to tell me because I never know what you got up your sleeve here on a Friday.
It is after the final game of the season. We realize it's been a couple weeks. People have had a chance to, come down from the season, calm down, start to look forward. But once again, it's that day when you rush home from school to get to the mailbox to get your report card before your parents see it, and you get grounded because you got D's and E's instead of A's and B's like they're expecting. But today is final report card day for the Lions. So I'm going to ask you for final grades, what your opinion is. But I'm just going to break it down by position group. I'm not going to do player by player because, once again, there's so many guys that actually took the field for the Lions this year. I'm not going to ask you, what you thought about, their fifth, inside linebacker that played when every other linebacker was on IR. So, so that's what we'll start with. And I'm going to give you the first group. It's got to be, the most important position on the team. And that's the kicker. What'd you think about the? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding on that. We're going to go with the quarterbacks. You can take all three of them into account. You can weight it if you want. This is your grade. What do you think? Quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Stafford,
I understand.
Blau.
I got it in my head, dude.
Perfect.
I got you. I understand, Grifka. Give the quarterbacks a grade for 2019 season. I mean, gosh, I hate to cop out on this first answer, but to me, it's an incomplete. I don't know if teachers still give those out, but I know every once in a while you get that weird eye or however they had filled it out on your reports, like you didn't show up enough to class or you had some other type of issue. I feel like that's what the Lions quarterbacks had this year was an absolute incomplete grade. Like Matt Stafford was incredible, but he just did not see the field enough to really give him an adequate grade. Jeff Driscoll came out, played 2-3 games, and he, gets incomplete as well because he came up injured, and you never really know what you had there. Is he good enough backup? Is he a scrub? I really couldn't tell you at this point. And then your boy, David Blau, the guy who you said, man, we may have something in this guy. I mean, just like you thought with Levine Toilolo. I think he's the only guy that I think we could give a grade to, and it's well below average. I mean, it's probably a D grade for David Blau. Okay, you threw a deep touchdown to Kenny and showed a couple flashes early on Turkey Day. After that, absolute just non-factor. Okay, you kept us in a few games. Great. That's sort of the story of the year. Hey, we were sort of in the games, but we never won, never really made any big plays, never did anything else to excite me after quarter one of Thanksgiving on Turkey Day. So, I'm giving the QBs an incomplete, and if I have to give them a grade overall, I mean they're D plus at best, I guess.
Yes,
maybe a C because Stafford was having a great year, but you can't play 7 games.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about the C because Stafford's grade was so high, and the other ones were so, like you said, non-existent at points that it really brought down the whole group as a whole. So I'm thinking, C minus for quarterbacks this year. So
you agree with me?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Let's do this. Let's go with the whole pass catching group. We'll do wide receivers and tight ends as a whole. What do you think about those guys this year?
Receivers, I mean, overall.
Woo!
I liked our top receivers. I mean, I think it gets swept under the rug that Kenny Galladay not only led the league in receiving touchdowns, but Marvin Jones was right behind him. And Marvin Jones missed, 3-4 games to end the season. I mean, Kenny Galladay put up what would have been 1,200 plus yards on only 65 catches. He was an absolute stud. Marvin Jones was more than good all year. Danny Amendola had the best season he's had, which surprised me because, like I said, I thought he had put up some numbers previously in his career, but I guess his best year was in Detroit at 34. Now, with that being said, those guys get real good grades and bring up the overall grade. When you look at the rest of our receivers, I mean, somewhat non-existent. This stat blew my mind. I saw it recently, Grifka. I think it's Marvin Hall, the speed receiver that was catching 40-yard balls like they were going out of style. Do you know how many catches he had in the season, Grifka?
Didn't he only have like 5 or 6 or something like that? He didn't have a whole lot.
Yeah, and I think his total was like 7, which to me is ridiculous. You look at a stat for a 16-game season, you're like, dude had 7 catches. Yeah, okay, everyone was for 40 yards, but it's still like, how do you not fumble your way into, I don't even know, 15, 20 to me seems like a minimum for a 4 or 5 receiver, whatever you want to call them. Like, I mean, they're throwing the ball a ton in the NFL now. So, I mean, he didn't do much. He was the next guy on our list. I mean, Travis Fulgham really never did anything all year long. I had some really high hopes. He obviously did not come through for me there in his rookie season. And gosh, I don't even know. Frank Ribble's boy. Who's the other receiver that played late in the year? Lacey.
Yeah.
I mean,
they threw him a lot of passes, but he didn't really catch anything.
Yeah, he's like that guy that always has a somewhat decent preseason, but I mean, he's not an NFL caliber receiver. He's a special team guy. So, but just because of those top 3, I mean, I'm giving the receivers a B plus. I guess I'll give them a overall B grade, just overall. Top 3 were probably A minus, if you want to be honest.
Yeah, I was like kind of in the same thing. If you include the tight ends into that, I don't know. Did you include the tight ends in your grade or no?
No, me and you, we know we got to save the tight ends separate.
Okay. Yeah, so if we're not including tight ends with that, like you said, the top 3 guys, they really brought the grade up, but after that it was really, really meager. So I'm going to go with like probably a B on that as well. So simply because after that there wasn't, I mean, the drop off was so obvious that I think even a B sounds about right. So why don't you move on to the tight ends then? Since we have to go with these guys. And don't give me some incomplete crap either, because the number 1 draft pick got hurt.
Oh no, that was only because our starting NFL quarterback played 7-8 games at best. That's why you get incomplete. Now, Grifka, before I move on to tight ends, both your answers, you know what they were. So do the gimmick so I can hit the bell. You pretty much
agreed with you, or not that great. Which one?
Yeah, you agreed with me. You got to give the people a good agree with me. That's always good for a laugh. Now, tight ends, I mean, this is where we differ a ton, starting the season, mid-season, end of season, I'm sure. I believe in TJ Hawkinson. I think he's a good player. I wouldn't have taken him at 8, but they did, and I feel like he's going to help the team in lots of different ways. I mean, to me, left quite a bit to be desired as a rookie, not only from his production, but just his intensity level and some of the things he brought. Now, with that being said, too, I think he's going to have a tremendous jump, and people are sleeping or hating on this guy like you always are, and he's going to end up being a really upper echelon type tight end, as well as a guy that Detroit's going to grow to love as a guy and a football player. But, I mean, right now, between him and that other bumski that we paid $6-7 million a year to, your boy the Outlaw, and Logan Thomas, who actually played better than average, which was still below average for any other type of tight end you'd actually count on. I mean, the tight ends get like a D as well. Terrible. There you go.
Okay, D. I mean, that was a little better than I thought, because I'm thinking F, big fat F. Get out the big red marker and put a big fat F on it. F for fat. F right there. Okay, let's move on to the last group. Running backs. Exactly.
That's for your F right there, and
exactly,
for your hatred of tight ends overall.
Exactly, right there. Running backs. Last part of the offense before we move on to the defense. What do you think about the running backs this year?
Gosh, you know what's so sad about doing these grades, Griff? Because like you look at it and like before I can even think about a grade, I'm just like, I mean, we didn't see much, if at all, of carry on. Like your boy Ty Johnson didn't show up. You know, McKissick was a gadget guy. Bo showed a little bit at the end of the year. Like there's nothing to hang my hat on here. So running backs overall, I mean,
You are missing the cog, dude. How did you not bring him up? It surprises me. Or wait, that's where you're taking your summer vacation this year, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Fill me in.
West Hills.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, the West Hills bit, that was classic. I saw they just signed like one of those other bums that Trey Carson or whoever they brought in for a cup of coffee and then got rid of. Like, oh, let's sign to a futures deal. It's like, oh my gosh, Bob Quinn, you're killing me with these guys that'll never end up doing anything. But yeah, West Hills is beautiful on a sunset evening. They also make a good souffle, and man, West Hills is incredible. Has a great 18th hole, I must say. I was just gonna get to my grade, Griffith. Like for running backs, it's terrible too. I mean, running backs are probably a C minus. I mean, the only reason they get a decent grade is because Bo, I think, showed up and might be a helpful piece to this team for the next 2, 3, maybe in 4 years plus if we're lucky. But I mean, it's not good. And that's what I gotta say for the running backs. Not good. Another check minus for carry on, as well as just, I mean, the fact they didn't have anybody else just is really embarrassing to me, that we had to fumble our way through the year with the guys we had to do. It's just crazy.
I'm just gonna get the bell. I agree with you on that grade. I was thinking the exact same thing. And I forgot about the most important part of the offensive line. What are you gonna give the O line?
Oh man, O line to me is, they're not dominant, but they're better than average. I mean, overall, they're good in pass blocking. They still don't have that nasty and don't push people. So, I mean, I'm giving them a C plus. I feel like that they could have a lot of room to be better, but they're also, on a good day, like when they're protecting the quarterback and we're slinging it with Stafford back there, they can definitely be a B offensive line. So anywhere from B to C plus is where this line usually falls. Everybody wants to be A plus, but they don't get it that like that's not how the NFL works. So
okay, I'm gonna give them a D for Decker and Dahl and Wagner because he's overpaid many dollars. So yeah, they're a big fat D right there. So go get another block O because you can't block anything else. So
Griffith, this is my D. I know you share this sometimes when things are going well, but this is the only D right here in the Detroit Koolaid Cast.
Drink it in, man.
And by the way, Taylor Decker just called.
Know your role and shut your mouth because the people's champ is ready to talk.
Yeah, he's going to see you at training camp. So if it's not the choke slam, I'd be wary of the Decker elbow.
Okay, so you mean he called? I mean, did he call the number 989-272-3484? Is that what he majored in at college? Dialing a phone there at Ohio State? Because heaven knows he didn't go to class. Anyways, that's the offense.
Wow!
Yeah, so glad Frank likes that one. Thanks, Frank. I appreciate it.
You came after him.
Much love, Frank. It's okay. He's gonna be working at the freaking West Hills lanes, with working the Shino ball and spraying the stuff into the shoes along with Brandon Pettigrew. So,
wow.
Hey Taylor, it's your turn to clean the bathrooms.
So you're basically saying that Taylor Decker has
No chance. That's what you got.
Yeah,
I disagree, but go ahead.
He's not that great. Let's move on to the defense here. The D line. The much overhyped we thought was going to be the next Silver Rush D line. What grade do you give these guys?
Oh, Grifka, you're depressing me because this was such a tough year that, I mean, the D-line was not good either. I mean, they didn't get any pressure on the quarterback. Trey Flowers was good once he got rolling, but, Ashawn, I mean, had a good year supposedly, but I don't remember him getting after the quarterback or making a bunch of impact plays. So the D-line was a D, Grifka. I mean, I hate to say it, but they were not good.
Right? I'm not even going to come, piggyback that because I agree with you. D. Linebackers. What are you thinking about our Frankenstein and the rest of the crew back there? That's a shout out to you, Paul in Tampa.
Yeah, it's not Frankenstein. They're Paul in Tampa and Grifka.
It drives me freaking bonkers.
Like Christian Jones is signed. He's as Bob Quinn said, he's an on and off ball linebacker that plays very well in their scheme. So there you go. They have Tavai and Christian Jones as well as Kennard. So they have their big linebackers. Everybody thinks like, hey, in the draft, you better look for a linebacker that's 6'3" or bigger and 240 pounds. They already have those. You know, they need some bendy, just freaky guys to get this unit over the hump. I always come on this show and support Jared Davis for what he does well instead of only pointing out his faults. I think there's plenty of people that are less athletic, less of a leader, have less want to than Jared Davis. He's only in his third season. So the linebackers to me are a C plus for the linebackers, with room to grow in 2020 for sure. And that's because Kennard is so good, and I think Tavai played solid football as a rookie, which you can't say for some people when they're a rookie.
I will give them a C minus. I still don't think, Davis still takes bad angles, can't cover. Tavai had trouble covering, and like you said, hopefully it proves Kennard was probably the best linebacker they had, and I'm surprised a whole mob of people with pitchfork and torches didn't come after Frankenstein on the field and he'd be like, running away. So, yeah, they're a C minus.
I understand. I got it in my head, dude.
Yep, let's go with the defensive backs as a whole. We'll go with corners and safeties together.
Gosh, man, all these grades, like I want to project forward as I normally do, but you got to sort of base it off what they did here in 2019. So, didn't turn the football over, after the first few games, just were kind of 2 steps too slow across the board, really seemed to cost us. Both the defensive line and the coverage both were really issues. Lost us a lot of games, made this defense look like Swiss cheese. Slay had his moments. Tracy had his moments. Early in the year, Coleman had his moments with the punch outs. I mean, C minus.
Okay. I was thinking more of a C for these guys. You said they did have some of the turnovers early, then teams really started to take better care of the ball against them, but then there was that point where it seems like it was just a 7-on-7 drill out there and quarterbacks were just picking them apart.
This was us covering people for 8 to 10 games to end the season. This is, Harris behind guys, touchdowns. I mean, clown show out there. Are you kidding me? Like, it was just start the music up when the quarterback drops back. It was embarrassing.
Well, like when Dak Prescott, the great Dak Prescott, can go through his reads twice because the pass rush is so awesome. You can't expect those guys to cover forever. So I'm still going to go with the C. All
right.
Let's go to, once again, the third most important part of the game. It is a part of the game, the third most important part. Let's just put the kicker and the punter together on this one. Give those guys a quick grade.
Oh, man, this one's easy for me. I love Matt Prater. I hate our punter. I don't even know why you say his name now. Hopefully he's gone. Sam Martin, an F. Matt Prater, A+.
Okay, I'm going to go Matt Prater an A, and I'm going to give Sam Martin an A just because he's with Nastia Lufkin, and she's freaking hot. So, dude, you get an A in my book just for scoring that, and you are a punter, okay? Congratulations, dude. If you want to talk about it, please give me a call at 989-272-3484, or hit me up on Twitter at GrifkaDKC. I'd love to touch base with you.
Sam Martin, do us a favor. Never call the show. Never hit me up on Twitter. Never put on a Lions jersey ever again. Just go away, please.
Hey, Sam Martin will see you at training camp next year.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. Last grade. We're going to put this one together. Let's put the coaches in the front office together. I mean, they're obviously working hand in hand. This doesn't sound like any Cleveland Brown stuff where they're going to hire the coach, then the GM. That doesn't make any sense to me. But here, we're going to go to our coaching hand. What do you want for a GM? Well, if you're going to do that, just hire me as the GM. Duh. But coaches and GM, we think they're on the same page. So what would you give your boys after Wednesday's show? You made a song. You loved their press conferences. You loved what they had to say. You were eating that up. You were drinking the Kool-Aid, eating the cornbread. They were handing that stuff out like it was free at a freaking Costco, and you were like, "Oh yes, all day." So, what would be your grade for these guys?
Cornbread.
Oh man, Grifka, you make me laugh, man. Front office and coaching. Gosh, hate to give them. This is where I'm struggling to, because the record speaks, what it does. We had that argument about the record is not what it is because of all the issues, injuries, just kind of mitigating factors. So, like I say, I mean, if you really dive into this healthy roster, I still think it's like an above board type of roster with room just to add, as well as you just can't complain with what we did in the passing game and what I think we have on the back end in regards to coverage and rush when it gets rolling. So coaching and GM, as you said, I just drank in those press conferences.
Drink it in, man.
I'm drinking some more Detroit Kool-Aid, man. To me, the coaches and the GM are still at that. They're still a B level for me. Room to grow, better than average. Throw the record out type of thing. One of those years you just chalk up as, wow, terrible, but won't happen again. You're not going to see a repeat of that. And like I say, I'm expecting a big leap forward where people will be like, they might say, I don't know this.
Wow.
When it comes to 2020. So.
Okay, I'm going to give them a C-. I'm going to live with that right there. I don't think they're D status, but they were a C- for me right there. So
the other thing I was going to say is my favorite is when you do your own sound bites live on the show. So like rather than me playing this,
it's like duh.
You were like, oh, hire your own GM, huh? Duh.
It's like duh. What kind of team does that? We're gonna hire our coach first and then ask him, what do you want in a GM? Excuse me? I mean, go to Match.com or something like that. I mean, it's like, I want a coach who likes pina coladas and long walks on the beach. What is that all about?
Griffey, you have to promise me that in future shows you'll purposely try to do some of your old bits like live. So I don't even have to hit the button. You'll just give it to the people like live, only like it's recorded.
Okay. Well, I'll see if I can remember that.
Like this gem.
It drives me freaking bonkers.
Oh, it's my all-time favorite.
Well, you'll hear those plenty next fall when we're talking about your homeboy Jared Davis. Jared, how do you miss that tackle? It drives me freaking bonkers.
Oh, everybody, you got to hit us up on Twitter, me at Derek O'Cree or at Grifka DKC, and tell us some catchphrases of Grifka's you want him to do live while he's talking about a topic. He just drops it on you. You got to have that.
Yeah, I got one more thing for us today before we finish up. And
oh yeah, grades were rough, man.
Yeah, so maybe we can do this. Guys like leave the team, and you're like, oh, I wish we still had that guy. And I'm not talking like Barry Sanders or Billy Sims. I'm talking like guys that could still play or are playing. And I just want to get your thought on this. If maybe the Lions might have missed this guy this year, like they could have used him. It's just like, yeah, this guy was better than this guy.
Here we go.
So I just want to get your thoughts on this. So I got a few names here for you, and just a quick take, yes or no or something like that. Do you think the Lions missed Ziggy at all this year? I know you did because we couldn't use the guy who's 6'10" and runs a 4.2 and almost gets sacks and I know you missed him, and I know you probably got your Seahawks Ziggy jersey on order as we speak. But do you think the Lions missed Ziggy, especially on the sidelines, telling everybody, "Hey, good game, good game"?
Oh, it caught me off guard. We're recording a bit later. I'm getting a little loopy here, but I was not expecting that name. I was thinking, who's Griffith? I had like 3 names in my head you were going to ask me about, and it was Ziggles was not one of those names. Yeah, and I mean, as much as I support the guy and think he's still a freak athletically, I mean, he's proven to be on and off the field again in Seattle. I just don't know if it's a shoulder again or what it is. I haven't been paying that much attention, but I did see him in a sweatsuit about a quarter in the last playoff game that they were in. I had friends blowing me, "Oh, there's your boy Ziggy's out again." I was like, yeah. I got not much I can say. Tip the cap there, but no, I mean, Lions don't miss him. I mean, as much as you killed Trey Flowers this year until he started to play better and did the old Griff go, hey, now that he's playing good, I'll go on the podcast and tell everybody he's playing good. It's like,
duh.
But we basically swapped out Ziggy for Trey, so I think that's not only good now, but it's going to be better in the future. So I'm totally fine with no more Ziggy.
Okay. Next name, Larry Warford. Do you think the Lions miss him at all?
I mean, I think so. I feel like they kind of, I can't even remember. They just sort of, he came up and he wasn't playing the greatest of football when his contract came up and they were in salary cap hell and they let him go. And he's been, I'd say above average probably in New Orleans, but I can't remember if he made a couple Pro Bowls, like that really matters or not. But I know he's been pretty good, still playing at a pretty high level. He was actually, I think there's only like 3 or 4 players that I actually have predicted live, like when the Lions picked of like who I wanted and who I thought they'd take, and Warford was one of those guys. And I mean, I'd say so. I mean, we could have Graham on the left and probably him on the right, probably definitely make for a better guard duo than what we have. But I mean, just was what it was at the time. I don't remember when he left, people were just beating down doors. There's a couple people that thought, hey, maybe you should keep this guy, but he played really well, and then he dropped off and he left, and then he started playing well again. So,
okay. Next name, Riley Reef. You think the Lions miss Riley Reef at all?
Gosh, Riley Reef's one of those guys too. Like he played decent. He kind of brought him along slow. By the time his contract was up, he was Swiss cheese at times and just did not seem to be a top type tackle. He went to Minnesota and everybody was like, oh, wait till Riley Reef. And I feel like he's been above average over there. I mean, he's played a lot. He's been hurt a little bit, but overall, I feel like he's been one of the stalwarts there in Minnesota, and you see them winning games and running the football. And so I don't miss him, but I feel like he's been better. Like, I bet if you moved him and left him at right tackle, he's probably the same or better than Ricky Wagner has at probably a cheaper price.
Okay. And this last one's for you. Calvin. You think they miss Calvin?
Hell. Yeah, all you Calvin Johnson's lovers out there, this guy was beat up, overpaid. Yes, he wouldn't sign my football, but I do not take that into consideration. He was a whiner, and he just wanted to quit football, so go ahead and quit. We got all that money off the books. We've been able to get Marvin, other players at that position. We have not really missed a beat. Matt Stafford has kept humming along. I remember everybody was like, oh, what's Matt Stafford going to do without Calvin? Yeah, put up the same or better numbers than he did with him in most seasons. So, no, I never want to pay a wide receiver $20+ million ever again. Unless it's Odell, then maybe I consider it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Okay, Odell. Okay. Well, that's all I got right there. Those are the 4 names I jotted down. I really wanted to get your opinion on those. I knew the Calvin one, but the other ones, I just really wanted to get your take on those. So those are the 4 names I want to ask you about.
Yeah, man, good stuff. Griffco always coming up with some interesting stuff to throw my way, and the grades were tough to stomach. The did you miss them had made me think a little bit, and we obviously had some fun off the top of the show talking about Jerry Jeudy and the draft, which, again, on my Believe in Lions, I'll be talking all things draft, and then I'll have Logan Lamorandier on the following week talking all things Lions, and me and Griffka will be coming back here next week talking all things current and random and crazy about the Detroit Lions. But before we go, Griffka, I don't know if you're ready for this one. It's a little bit of a curveball. You got anything else for the people?
Nope.
He still hasn't come up with anything, people. I told him one day he's going to shock the world and bring the most brilliant thing you guys have ever heard at the end of the show. But for now, we'll stick with the Griffka Nope because the people love it. Everybody, hit us up on Twitter. Hit that Detroit Koolaid Cast Listener Line. Thank you for the support. We're building to 2020. Like, before you know it, we'll put this 2019 stuff behind us. We'll be talking draft, free agency. Griff, I can't wait till we get to free agency. I've broken some things down. I think you'll be really interested. So we'll get into all that on future episodes right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. We're out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a
Drink it in, man.